Hi, this is Gabe with the B&H Pro YouTube channel, and I'm here in Berlin for Superbooth 2026. And regardless of what my esteemed colleagues Andrew Swift and Kevin Daniel think over there, we all know why we're really here, and that's synths and synth adjacent stuff. So let me take you on the show floor and show you some of the coolest things I've seen this year. Let's go! So the first thing I wanted to check out at this year's show was the Katla synth, or as us synth nerd like to call it, the lava synth, because it actually has pieces of lava rock on the sides and on the knobs, which is kind of pretty incredible, you gotta say. I love the way they describe this synthesizer. They say it's at the frontier between control and unpredictability, and we'll come back to why in a couple minutes. But first, this is a 5-voice polyphonic synthesizer powered by digital oscillators, but all the rest of the signal path is analog. And at the core of the architecture is a multimodal voice rotation that routes notes across 5 discrete channels, each with individual controls, including waveform, volume, and octave. And each voice has its own filter, amplifier, amp envelope, LFOs, and even dedicated sub-oscillators per voice. And the Katla is also a stereo synth, so you can spread your 5 voices across the whole stereo field for really wide and atmospheric sounds. So I talked a bit about unpredictability, and what brings this about in this synthesizer are these 8 sliders here at the bottom right, which are linked to what's called the Katla parameters. So for example, the Moda parameter brings tuning and stability. There's also Gvika, I think I'm pronouncing this right, but it's Icelandic, so it's a little hard, which brings pitch fluctuations. And there's also ASCA, which brings modulation events to the amplification and frequency spectrum of each voices independently. So you got 8 total, and these are kind of a wild card you can use to make your sound unstable and unpredictable. Other than that, the Katla is equipped with onboard effects, so it has an 80s inspired plate reverb with amount and mix control, and it also has 4 types of distortions that you can use at the same time if you want, which is a little crazy but can lead to really interesting results with phase distortion, wave folder, CMOS distortion, and signal overdrive. Last but not least, it is MP compatible, so you'll be able to use it with your favorite MP controller to unleash its crazy eruptions. So that's it for the Katla synth. I'm so happy I came to see this in person. It's a great sounding synth and also a very impressive device to look at. Check it out. I'm gonna go back on the show floor, see if I can find some other cool stuff. So I made a quick stop at the Korg Berlin booth to check out the new NTS-4, which is sitting right here next to my old friend, the Phase 8. The NTS-4 is a performance mixer, and it is the latest member of the NewTek family of device, which is the DIY series of devices that Korg produce. You receive them in pieces and you put them together yourself, which in itself is a lot of fun. It features 2 Euro-compatible mono channels here on the left, 4 stereo channels, and stereo in and out via USB-C. Each channel has a dedicated mute and cue button, as well as a dedicated volume knob, of course. The NTS-4 also features an onboard stereo effects processor with delay, 4 types of reverb and chorus, and you can assign this effect on a per track level or on the main output for global processing. So that's it for the NTS-4 in a nutshell. I really like the NewTek series. They're kind of like non-pretentious little devices that you can take anywhere with you, so another great release by Korg. So one of the units I really enjoyed tinkering with here at the show is the new Bullfrog drums by Erica Synth. The Bullfrog series is a series of educational synths developed by Erica Synth in partnership with Richie Houghton, which is actually right here to my right, which is pretty cool. And the Bullfrog drums is a drum machine with 7 sample-based drum voices. But of course, these 7 voices being sample-based, you're not limited to drum sound. You can play pretty much any sound you like melodic sounds, bass sounds, Foley, whatever comes to mind. Each of the 7 voices have a dedicated volume knob, so you can easily control the volume of each voice from the top row of knobs right here. And it also has 7 knobs for sample shaping, so you have pitch control, decay, loop point, cutoff, resonance, drive, and pan. So you can really play with your sounds and create really intricate drum patterns or sequences. It also features an emergency speaker in case of an emergency, I guess. The Bullfrog drums is of course made to create your own samples, but it comes preloaded with 7 banks of samples designed by Erica Synth and Richie Houghton. And it also comes with 16 user banks for your own samples, which you can create using the built-in microphone, which is at the front, or the line-in, which is in the back, to sample any audio source. The main function of the bottom row of button is to operate the sequencer. You can program sequences of up to 64 steps and then save them as patterns. And then of course you can recall these patterns independently to create more complex song structures. So that's it with the Bullfrog drums. It's a really well designed and well-rounded drum machine and a really great instrument, and I had a ton of fun using it. And now I'm just gonna go back on the show and see if I see something else cool. So follow me around. It's definitely a great year for performance mixers here at Superbooth 2026, and one of the units that caught my attention is the Xcelonsl by Boredbrain. This is a fully featured performance mixer with a full analog path. It features 8 stereo channels with dual control, so you can control 2 parameters with each knob and sliders for precise volume adjustments on the fly. One of the top features on this unit, as far as I'm concerned, is the integrated dynamic sidechain. It listens to channel 1 by default, but it can be driven by any audio source if you use the external sidechain in that's here at the top of the unit. And it features free controls that you can use to shape it with frequency, threshold, and decay. For me, that's an amazing feature to have on a mixer because you can get your sidechain effect straight from your mixer without using an LFO to simulate it or an external processor. The Xcelonsl also features a great sounding DJ-style analog performance filter that can be easily toggled on and off with this little button right here. And it also has low-pass filter and high-pass filter resonance control that give you kind of like resonance presets that make sure that the filter always behaves predictably. The Xcelonsl prioritizes external effects routing, so you don't have any effects on board, but instead you have 4 stereo effects buses that you can use, 2 stereo send and returns with dedicated control knobs on each track, and 2 stereo inserts on mix A and B, providing plenty of way to integrate guitar effects or external processors into the mix. I'm only scratching the surface here because this is a pretty complex unit with tons of features, but this is definitely the type of mixer I'd like to have by my side for the live performance. One final stop at the Expressive-E booth to check out the Osmose CE or Controller Edition, because this was really one of the highlights of the show for me. I already made a long form video on the channel that I invite you to check out, but just a quick recap. This is a controller only version of the Osmose, which is the spectacular MPE synthesizer that Expressive-E released a few years back. This version strips out the synth engine, so you're just left with the controller, the amazing keyboard with unmatched expressivity. It doesn't come with any onboard sound, but it comes with a plugin called Control E, which is a collection of sounds based on different software plugins that Expressive-E has released over the years. So you'll have sounds from Dune Free, the Legend HD, Noisy 2, which is their flagship software synth, and a lot of other stuff. You don't get the full version of the plugins, but you get 8 macros that you can tweak to still make them your own. And if you want to switch to the full plugins, you can of course do that to unleash their full power. And just like the original Osmose, this one comes in a 49 key and 61 key version. So that's it for the Osmose CE. This is becoming one of my favorite instruments ever. It can really become an extension of your mind, and it's such a beautiful sounding and expressive synth. Please do yourself a favor and check it out. Alright, so that's it for my coverage of Superbooth 2026. This year was yet again an amazing edition. I'm so happy with the people I met, the machines I saw, and I'm really looking forward to be back next year. In the meantime, Gabe out, and if you're looking for me, I'll be in Das Club.